for the show.
Needing the eye candy for the show. I'm surrounded by eye candy. I know y'all are scoping out the eye candy that is the SideQuest Live podcast, your weekly journey into the world of video games, video game culture, and whatever else we can think of. Whatever.
We're the most culture.
All the culture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dolly Domofsky, Double D. I don't know why I started using Double D just to mess with JJ.
Just to mess with me, explicitly to mess with me.
Person above me right there, Taylor Bliss. Right
yeah,
there.
That's me.
Yes,
That's
the freshly showered Taylor Bliss, Mr. A man of the night, one might say. Over my shoulder this way, the one, the only, Zach. Okay, Quest.
That's me.
That's you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And up above him, coming in at 100% awesome, the Double J, JJ Miller. I wasn't going to throw a weight. I was
going to say, I can't wait to see what Dally thinks I weigh.
Yeah, I'm horrible at that. 140. That's everybody's 140.
I haven't been 140 pounds since
high school,
middle school.
Yeah, maybe middle school for me too. Yeah, it could be like middle school for me. Y'all, it is Friday. How you guys doing? It's so nice to chat with my friends.
Yeah,
it's a good day. I like
it is
today.
A good day.
You like today? Good.
What exactly about today do you like?
Work was slow. We had like a food day. We had a party.
Oh, nice.
Food day.
It was
It's
both
like an episode of The Office, basically.
Yeah, we had a salsa competition that we're running for the month. So like every Friday, they're gonna have like people are gonna vote on like salsas, and we're gonna have like a bracket. We have a bracket and everything. So we're.
Oh wait, I thought you meant like salsa dancing. This is like salsa.
No, salsa the food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same thing. It was a coworker's birthday today. On top of also somebody got a promotion, so they threw a barbecue. So
cool.
Pretty easy. Yeah. We had so one of my coworkers, their dog passed away last night, so we threw a secret party for him today.
Oh, that's cool.
So we can have fun. Yeah.
That's very nice. Very nice, you guys. Yes. Well, there's more than just dogs to talk about. Maybe there shouldn't be, because dogs are always awesome, but there's also other stuff to talk about. Yeah. Games we can talk about. That's always kind of cool.
Nah.
No.
No.
I guess if we have to.
I guess if we have to. By the way, it is PAX season, which means thank you to all the PAX folks coming to sidequesting.com looking for the party list. There aren't a lot of parties, unfortunately, this year, but I just got handed like a couple more earlier today, so I got to add those in. But unfortunately, JJ is going to be the party person.
I don't know. Yeah.
At PAX.
Yeah, they heard he's coming, so they just all kind of mellowed out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to overstimulate the Seattle populace.
Yeah. So. It's I don't. It's there's no IPAs and ciders and stuff. So like it's just all your typical beer and stuff, and you're not going to get the Seattle folks out to those parties.
Nah. Well, speaking of people, look at that. Someone's drinking over there. It's always good. I got my coffee here. I have my gamer Excedrin.
I've got a Dream Coke.
You got a Dream Coke, and you may have something else later.
I do have something else later.
What flavor do you think that Dream Coke is? Because I've had two. I've had two, and I just don't know.
Mango.
Oh, interesting.
It tastes a lot like that Pepsi mango.
I gotta try it.
It's like some sort of like tropical flavor.
Does the stores have it? Okay, I'll give that a shot.
Like it tasted like Mountain Dew to me. It just tastes like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it has that synthetic, like when you try to replicate. It's tropical flavored, and that's what you get. I like it, but
it's pretty good. I wanted to buy a 12-pack of it to bring to work. And the lines were too long. I was like, I'm just gonna.
It's the kind of. Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was gonna say it's the 10-pack is like the Andre the Giant size. Like I'm holding
Nice.
like Andre holding a beer can. It's
No, I was gonna say it sounds like the kind of Coke you'll find at a bar that's in a pool, like literally in a pool with waist deep water. tropical Coke. Anyways, let's start off as we are wont to do. We always start off talking a little bit about some of the news and goings on around the game industry, stuff that interests us. May not be what you guys like, but guess what? We don't.
It's not
care.
about you.
Not about you. It's about us. We're just having a good time. Hanging around Friday nights.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah, who wants to share something? It's show and tell time.
Oh, show and tell.
I mean, do we want to talk about the news of the day first?
Let's talk about the news of the day. Let's talk about the Resident Evil was canceled. Oh, sorry.
Resident Evil is not coming back. No, I didn't watch that. Most people here didn't watch that.
I did.
Yeah,
there hasn't been. I have watched every movie. So
you are there.
And
what's so good about the show, JJ? What makes the show really good?
No, we're not talking about it. No, we're not talking about it.
No, so we all East Coasters woke up to rumor news, as I'm going to call it, as what's been floating around lately, about an Amazon acquisition of EA. I think it was within 40 minutes. It was basically countered and debunked. And that's part of a story that we can discuss, which is, was there, that happened. But there's not news to it, because the reality is that somebody wrote a story with a single source.
Of course, I made it up.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain, and I don't know if I necessarily I'm not saying that this is right, but there are people that have been in the industry long enough where they say this is a credible source where you are inclined to believe them. The
Schreiers.
I mean, Schreier's not exactly everyone's favorite person.
Right.
But he has a track record, which when he says that this is a source that I trust and believe, there's a certain credibility to it. And this was not one of those stories. And it ran with it. It was on CNBC. It was, EA's. Yeah, I mean, EA's stock moved. It's that kind of story because,
they
EA
pulled
getting
the
picked
Jeff Grubb and tanked a mess with But yeah,
the thing about it is that, Grubb goes on Twitter and goes on a live stream show and says, the rumor that I've heard is blank. And that's okay. I mean, you can call it morally dubious if you're so inclined. But he doesn't say, Dally's inclined to say so. That's fine. But he doesn't write a story and says, I have a source that says this, which is just inherently different than saying, I heard a rumor that X is Y.
I hear lots of rumors every day.
Yeah,
so.
Sure. And if I was monetarily benefited to repeat rumors on Twitter, I would also be inclined to do so. But I don't, and probably will never be. But anyway, the other piece that I wanted to kind of transition into is that it has felt like, to me, that this has gotten way, way, way worse in the last 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know if it's summeritis, if the kids are getting out their jimmies before they go back to school. If we're just in that kind of nestling in period at the end of summer where holiday news is starting to get people a little bit jittery, or what, but Zach, you said you had a take. I want to hear your take.
It's 100% not real, but it's my take. My take is
source. It's you.
Source. I made it up. So I think it's interesting recently with all the SEO changes Google's been making. Like how it's going to be a lot harder to Google things just naturally find something, and also find something that's everything has to be indistinctly different now on Google for the SEO to work you can't just like copy and paste like most places do now. Like you can just get a press release. So I feel like some of these places are trying to get ahead of that and trying to figure out what's working, because it came out. It's been out for like a week. I feel like they're just working. They're trying to work some magic.
They announced it like what, on the 18th, but did it launch then too?
No, I did. It launched in the last couple days.
Yeah, it launched recently. Like I think it was like between Wednesday and Thursday.
There's no
day between Wednesday and Thursday. It's.
I'm just saying there's been some strange stories published recently, just because I feel like people are testing the waters. Like, hey, let's see what we can do now, because we have to. You have to run those one source stories, so you have something unique that will get clicks, will get eyes. Like you can't. Obviously, it can't be naturally creative. You have to just make stuff up now.
So that wouldn't surprise me inherently, but man, going with Amazon buying EA is quite the extra effort.
Well, the thing
standing out.
Yeah.
The thing that surprises me is it's just some random guy I've never heard of. Like I've never heard of this dude. It's from a USA Today esports website that they have. Apparently, it's like, where is this coming from? Never heard of any of those. So
I haven't heard of GLHF, which seems sort of like a content farm. It just seems like it's more like a Reuters for a game. It's kind of what it sounds like. And so people will, as you notice that people will, for Reuters stuff, they'll just Reuters. They'll actually take the article, just copy.
Oh, and paste Reuters. I was trying to figure out what Reuters meant.
It is Reuters. Actually, I think it's pronounced Reuters. Not like steroid but Reuters. No, and so I think GLHF. It kind of sounds like they're trying to be the same thing for gaming, right? But
fact check, I made it up. That's like they just ruined everything if that's what they're trying to do. Congrats.
Yeah, I mean my Kirk is actually, I've been following Kirk for a while, and he's very credible. I've been keeping up with his work. Well, now that's kind of where I was getting to. All it takes is one, whether a mistake, whether a bad call, whether whatever happened. I'm not going to judge yet. All it takes is one thing, and your credibility is shot. And I'm very much. I've said it in the Discord. I don't like insider culture, because insider culture is shoot first, prove it later. If it doesn't happen, you can delete your post, you can delete your tweet, you can delete your video on Twitch and on YouTube, and nothing ever happens, right? And we see it a lot. We see a lot of folks, friends of ours, folks that follow us, folks that we follow, folks we know in real life that are a part of this insider culture. It's like, hey, I've heard this, and you throw it out there, and it's like, yeah, cool, but it's almost always from one person, or we get back into and I did a Taylor liked my joke post I think it was last year, which is like, everybody's saying a Nintendo Switch is coming, Nintendo Switch Pro is coming this year, so we're gonna post it too. Everybody's saying it, I'm not saying it, everybody else is saying. I'm just telling you what it's
the weird
yes.
Everybody talked about it, so now there's validity to it.
Yes.
It has this weird circulatory notion to it, where, especially because
hold on a second. Who just started the newest episode of Only Murders in the Building? Because
that would be my wife.
All right, your wife is now. Tell her she got major brownie points because we're addicted. We've got one episode left. Anyways, continue. Go ahead.
But anyway, so what's interesting to me is that, and Deli, you know better than I do because I don't know Kirk. But I unfortunately didn't get to read the piece in its original form before it got kind of
went through like 50 changes.
Secret. And that was the other kind of secondary effect, was watching Twitter respond to the weird edits that USA Today editorially applied to it. Because, from what I can tell, Kirk works for GLHF, which is
he's worked all over the industry, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
But was writing it for FTW,
Mm-hmm.
which is the USA Today esports gaming wing. But was there any source that was listed for it, or it just said source?
Sources from our sources, and that's what.
Yeah.
Again, and I completely agree with both you guys. It's such a weird situation right now in that obviously you don't want to give away your source, because you give away your source, that person's livelihood could be in trouble, right? I mean, that person could get fired for leaking something to you. We've seen it happen before. And so you don't want to give away your actual source. You don't give away their name. Yeah, you don't. I mean, you don't want to even really give away what department they're in. You don't want to give away where they hear about it. It's
right.
You just got you almost have to hope that the reader or viewer or whatever on the end trusts you enough that they'll trust the source. It's a telephone. It's a game of telephone. And you're shaking your head, Zach. I agree with you. It is, in this day and age, it is so difficult to trust somebody's unnamed source. What doesn't matter how credible they are. It's so difficult because we've seen so many swings and misses. Because
single source reporting is dangerous regardless of what industry you're in. Like any industry.
Exactly.
You learn in journalism class to get at least 3 sources before you report on it. So.
And this kind of goes back to the reason why people like Jason Schreier are able to do these types of things better is because he's been around longer.
Yep.
He has, he knows more people in more places than other folks do. And so when he hears, or if a source that knows him comes to him and says this, he, chances are, has somebody else that is going to know and can reach out to that person honestly and can achieve those 3 sources before. Theoretically.
Schreier is a guy that has a lot of emails that he never asked for, kind of guy. His mailbox probably gets, by the time a source comes to him, he probably has already read it 2 or 3 times in some form or another.
Schreier, Totillo are up there. Crescente used to be up there. I used to have a lot of the Polygon guy used to be up there, and I like Grub, our good friend Jeff, former SideQuesting podcaster. He's not necessarily on the same level as Jeff. Now has sort of moved into the video and kind of that content creation portion.
He's like full-time Giant Bomb at this
He's
point.
full-time Giant Bomb. But he kind of comes at things more of like Jeff's like cool uncle, whereas that you'll talk to, whereas Schreier and Totillo are like professional uncle. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
It was always wild, and like especially early Giant Bomb, when Patrick Klepek would like beat report some massive story that nobody else was able to get, and he was able to pull that off a few times.
What's really interesting to me, just in general, how journalism has changed, is we had Klepek back then doing those beats now, but all of the beats really now are YouTubers. Like that's where everything is. It's like really crazy to me.
And there's no like traditional press beat reporters anymore for.
And so as sort of a quick little research thing before this episode, after all the EA stuff broke this morning, I remember, last year there was definitely going to be a Zelda 35th anniversry direct, right?
Yeah,
there's definitely going to be one. So I'm like, I've got
for a while you thought.
So we all sort of ate, drank that Kool-Aid, ate into that story. So I'm like, let me do some digging and try to find out where this started. It did not start from Rob. It did not start from anybody in the actual industry. It started with fans and folks on Twitter who were, would post stuff at folks like Jeff and whoever, and say things like, "Hey Jeff, do you think that if there was a Mario 35th anniversary, there'll be a Zelda one this year?" Jeff 99.9% of the time wouldn't respond, or if he did, it would usually be something like, "Yeah, hell no, there's not going to be anything like that." But those responses started getting picked up by quote unquote insiders that were like not really insiders, not like our friends Yo or Hot Girl, anybody like that. Just like folks who are just random ass YouTubers who are saying there's buzz around. People are talking about a Zelda 35th anniversary Direct, and all of a
Which
sudden it
is
starts to
true.
bubble.
People are talking about it.
People are talking about it, which means it's so it just goes back to that whole.
Yep, and then guess what? And then all of a sudden, blogs that need to fill content are like, man, the YouTubers are talking about Zelda 35th anniversary.
There's a buzz about a new.
There's a YouTube channel called Silksong News. They've posted a video every day for like 500 days straight.
Wow,
and then they're just like, it's like minute-long videos. Like, there's no news today.
I love it.
I mean, awesome. Like, that's just like, that's what's so crazy to me is how it's like, it's just a never-ending cycle. We're eating each other, you know, just constantly turning. Yeah, it's so interesting to like watch. But what I wanted to add is, hold on, I had it, I lost it. Hold on, someone talk about something. So I can remember what I was gonna say.
What rumor should we start right here, right now?
Oh, okay, no. Here's where I actually don't mind leakers too much because I think it's fun to like speculate, right? It's fun to be like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah. But where the line is drawn with me is with people like Schreier or like Laura Kate Dale, people who would leak things, and then when it would become true, they'd be like, "Oh, look what I did," blah blah blah, or then they would have an ego about it if someone else leaked something that they were working a beat for, or if it didn't come out to be true, they get defensive. That's when it's weird to me. Yeah, that's why I like Hot Girl 69 because it's just like you don't know who they are, and if they're wrong, they don't say anything. Like, or they'll say a couple months later, like, "Oh yeah, we did say this, but whatever." Like. And it's cool because they're an anonymous person. Like, there's no ego involved, really. They're just kind of just spitting it out. That's why I like them.
Yeah, I mean, the response when some of those folks get it wrong is, I mean, they changed what they were going to do, and so it's not right. It's not correct anymore. Like that. That's it. It's
There's a lot of professional wrestling journalism kind of thing where it's just like, well, that's what was going to happen, but now it didn't. So
you know what? It's funny, JJ, because I was about to talk shit about like why the fuck would anybody cover professional wrestling in a Jenny journalistic forum, but then. You know, I literally in a split second, I immediately came back to the fact that we're talking about video games journalism. And I'm like, yeah, it's the same shit. It's literally just talking about a rumor mill about the entertainment industry, right? Like,
it really is.
It's the same. You know, people.
No, video games are serious, and I have a master's degree in video game design and all this stuff.
Well, I mean, I will say. If nothing else, video games is a bigger industry than wrestling, but that's about the biggest difference.
You know what? Here's interesting enough. Here's a little thing that we can start to. Here's our beat. Our beat wouldn't be, spreading the rumors. Our beat could be like fact checking rumors. You know, basically saying like a Snopes for Snipes. We'll do Snipes for the video game fact checkers. We'll just say, is this rumor started by someone credible, or is it started by dudes tweeting at Jeff Grubb about the next Nintendo
Direct? Our beat's gonna be me replying to someone who's wrong and being like, "Oh, this went well." Yeah, or like because I do that every time.
You're just gonna be a milk or whiner. You're like, how did this one age up?
It was. I will say though, it was interesting. We haven't had good. Game journal beef in a hot minute, but people were kind of piling on each other a little bit. You saw like Tom Henderson was going. It's like, okay, guys, all right. Anyways, it's a great conversation.
But to pull it all back, it especially because you were more knowledgeable about the individual particularly.
Never heard of them. Still,
I mean, but at the end of the day. If this is somebody that is working, for a place that is trying to make it happen with this is
it's the wrong guy.
It's a really big leap to take. Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, Zach, my point is that at some point there was a place there where he thought it was the right move, and I don't think it was malicious. Because if it was, I mean, here's the thing: is it possible it's malicious? Sure. It's just weird if it was because of how damaging the blowback is. So,
I mean, there's also the other side is like if you want to do your job right, do your job right. You know, like.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, and so like
that's just where
but thinking about it that way just leads me to believe that there was something there, right? Because like that's just what my heart wants to believe is that like they would do that.
My mind with any journalist stuff is like if you can do this at a full-time level, you're very privileged and you should take it seriously because you want to keep this nice job. So like it's just weird to me when people do things that are like, this could potentially ruin my career. He even tweeted that. He's like, this could potentially ruin my career.
That was his immediate follow-up. I sure hope that this one's not wrong.
Oh, why would you do it? Why would you risk it? There's no point. Why would you
go that route? Yeah, no. I would say
this is crazy.
For anybody who's interested, go watch the Newsroom. Like I think it was the second season or third season of the Newsroom. I can't remember what it was. The Genoa stuff. Where have you guys ever watched the Newsroom?
Yeah,
on HBO?
Andy Sorkin.
Yeah, Andy Sorkin. Well, there was the whole kind of season where they talked about one source. It was like
Aaron
one
Sorkin,
source.
Sorry.
Yeah, Aaron Sorkin. You're thinking of Andy Serkis. No. It's just fantastic. I knew you were going there. But no, it's about essentially single source reporting and how that can take a very serious story. And by the end, it just blows up in their face, quite literally, because it's just not true. So anyways, yeah, great conversation. It's something that I think is going to be going through. So I got a little bit of news of something that's not a rumor.
No.
I can't live without more rumors.
It's a single source rumor. My daughter told me.
My daughter tells me all of the stuff, which I think is great. No,
you can unlock Luigi right now in Super Mario 64.
If you climb out to the top. No, it is the rumor that you know companies are going to start raising the prices of their consoles due to inflation. I had fun.
Very proud. You were very proud.
Very proud. More so than the article. Yeah, Sony raised the price of the PS5. It's a modern pricing boogeyman. Yeah, basically in this blog post, can you guys see did it leap out of there? It leapt out of there, didn't it? Oh well. In a blog post, which I shall share in a second here, because it doesn't seem to work that way with StreamYard, sons of guns. Sony said, here we go. Increasing the price in select markets due to global economic environment, including high inflation rates. So Sony's blaming inflation on the price increase, essentially everywhere except for America, where there's zero inflation in America, obviously, so they don't need to raise the price there. But they're raising the price everywhere else. In some countries and territories and regions, more. Like I think it was like up to like 20% or whatever, 15 to 20%, something crazy like that. In some areas, not a whole ton, at least the way the rate works out. But they're raising the prices on the PS5 digital. And I haven't seen a digital in the wild. I haven't seen anybody own a digital ever, but except for Corey. But
there's a digital at my local Target and I almost bought today.
Did you? Just for the hell of it, didn't you? Just for the hell of it. You're not going to make much of a profit if you flip it these days. It's an interesting thing to me because we saw Meta do it with the Quest, right? The Quest 2, they raised the price $100, I think, something like outrageous, and we all kind of laughed, ha 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 ha. Stupid Facebook, and now Sony did it. Sony did say, I think, like a month ago that after Meta did, they said, "Yeah, no, we're not gonna raise the prices. Don't worry." Hey, we're back to Fridays. Yep. We're not going to raise the prices. Don't worry. And then a month later, they had to raise the price. Of course, Microsoft and Nintendo both came out today and said, no, we're definitely not. We're not, or the last couple days, we're not raising the prices. Trust us. There's no price.
The audacity of Nintendo raising the price of the Switch.
Yeah. So, Nintendo did raise the price because they put the SWOLED out there.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is that Nintendo's in a perfectly prime position to be able to say, "Yep, we're not going to be raising the price on the Nintendo Switch." Yeah, because they don't have to, because they're releasing a new model, which isn't the Nintendo Switch. Yeah. It's going to be whatever the new. Very particular name of the Switch is going to be when that new version comes out. Be like, we didn't raise the price This is a new product. It's a new model. It's not the same thing. In fact, we're cutting the price of the old Switch, and now it's $50 cheaper.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa! Thanks, dude.
Wow.
No, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. So they're raising the price in all these other countries. They're going to take the excess stock by the end of a certain month, ship it to the United States, and use that for a pretty big holiday sale stuff. That's what's happening.
What is kind of interesting is, there is.
I'm not going to
that
take
is
any
sort of
lips.
there is a little bit of conspiracy theory to that, but at the same time, what's kind of interesting is that you look at where the PS5 is the most successful. It's the US, right there. You cannot.
Amen,
keep them
brother.
You cannot keep them on store shelves. You can't keep them online. It's nigh impossible. The rest of the territories, they're not selling as well, right? Xbox is owning, Microsoft is owning Europe. Nintendo owns Asia. And so why sacrifice from a sales standpoint,
doesn't make any
sheer
sense.
numbers, why sacrifice that when you can continue to sell more in the US and actually potentially move more stock to the US, like you're saying, make up that price in these other countries by make up that cost, the revenue by jacking that price up $50 or whatever. So there actually may be, I'm definitely not into conspiracy theories, but that one kind of works out in a weird way because they have to make up that cost.
Do they not have regional SKUs?
They're all open. Whatever you can pick, like whenever you start.
There's no difference between them.
Nope.
No. Nope. Nope.
So
My brain's still stuck in PAL and NTSC.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
thankfully.
In college, I took a logistics course where we had to run a simulator for like the whole semester, and we would compete against each other and like just like a whole real thing. And one of the times we did this in our class where we just moved stock to sell in our country that sold the most. So I'm just saying it makes sense up here from a business standpoint. So I feel like that's what's happening.
So Planet says to throttle sales. No, I don't think they're throttling sales in other areas. They still want to sell as many as they can in other countries, but they're just going to have less stock shipping to those countries. I think they're going to be allocating more stock to the US because they don't have a lot of games coming out. And so Microsoft doesn't either, but Microsoft has Game Pass, so they're not super.
Yeah, I think
Sony has to get hardware out there.
Instead, what they did is they looked at market, they looked at research. What they saw was the people that are going to buy the PS5 in those regions are going to buy it whether it's $550 or $650, or whatever the price difference was after the increases.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense to increase the price in those regions instead of the US, where that price increase would instead cause the flip.
Yes.
Whether, from PS5 to Xbox or a loss of a sale, essentially, for whatever reason. So that's, and what that does is, it's not that they're taking lost shipments and moving them back to the US, although they theoretically could do that. But more realistic is that they just swap allocation for future and reallocate units that are no longer going to sell in that region and allocate them to the US.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, if you're going to have stuff sitting on store shelves in other regions, I mean, it's probably not sitting on store shelves, but whoever's going to buy a PlayStation product in those other regions is going to spend extra. They've done their research. They know what they're doing monetarily. But in the US, PlayStation is still a huge name from a console standpoint. So,
there realistically hasn't been any PlayStations like on shelves. Period.
Yeah, it's still impossible to find them. They sell like crazy, but they're
impossible. For a holiday season Black Friday like sale, having a ton of PlayStation 5s to sell, they're gonna sell.
They're gonna
no matter what. Like, and you
might see those. The holidays this year might bring God of War, Horizon, Gran Turismo. PlayStation 5 bundles, which does jack up that price $50. I mean, the Horizon bundle is $50 more than the regular one. And it's like, here's a digital copy of the game or whatever you want to throw on there. Here's a disc, which is incredibly cheap to make. So for them, that's where you might see a potential price increase. Nintendo does it with the Switch. They have the Mario Kart version, which is $50 more, right? And it sells like freaking crazy. So, yeah, I think it's Sony knows what they're doing. It's just it comes off as really weird, but they need to. They're reallocating stock. They need to bring the price up a little bit in those other areas so they can kind of offset that. But I understand the inflation aspect, but it also really means that they want to get their stock into the US, I think. But it's interesting time. Meta, I don't know what the F Facebook is doing. That's a completely different thing.
I mean, just from a business side, like you don't increase the price of something, period. Like something you don't say, okay, $100 more for something that people want. Like,
and people they're not in love with the Meta Quest. Every store has stacks of them. You probably want to go cheaper to get them in more people's hands, right? I mean, that's.
Well, I mean, the usual solution to this problem typically has been you revise a product to create a new SKU so that you can increase the product, phase out old one, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I mean, you would think that Meta Facebook is wanting to do, considering that Zuckerberg won't shut the fuck up about the Meta being the future of the whole universe, right?
Let's just go right into another news story then, because
real quick, it says recommended. Is that really optional? It's always a recommended price.
I mean, MSRP is it literally means the manufactured suggested retail price. So what is inevitable is that it remains at the suggested retail price until a retailer cannot offload an inventory, and if the retailer has a specific agreement with whoever is providing that inventory to get it off of their shelves, or else face a penalty for continuing to have it in stock, they will discount it until they can get rid of it, or else they will pay a different penalty to send it back.
And that's why
that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you see like the Xbox Series S, because there's a lot of those. I go in every Target, every Walmart has them in there, which is great. If people who want an Xbox, they'll get an Xbox. That's why you see the prices go to like $269 with the game, because a lot of it is that like Woot does it a lot. They need to move some of these to kind of meet a certain quota for that exact reason. So, anyways, JJ, what's your news?
Well, a source tells this reporter, that source being the one and only Joe Rogan.
Oh boy.
On Joe Rogan's show, Mark Zuckerberg was on there and confirmed that the next Meta Quest release is coming out in October. So
even crazier.
So they've jacked the price up of the Meta Quest 2,
which means that they're going to release the next one even higher.
It's going to be even higher. It's been rumored for a while now. There's kind of a lot of stuff that has been going around. I think it was like Project Cambria or something.
Yes, Cambria, yeah.
The rumor name is the MetaQuest Pro. So
wait, hold on. Is Facebook Meta doing just like an even longer, even more expensive con than what WB is trying to pull off by tanking their whole market cap?
It certainly feels that way, doesn't it?
I don't know. The idea that they release an Oculus Quest Pro that's even more expensive than the jacked up, like, I don't know. I mean, like, we talked about it however many weeks ago, JJ, where it's like VR is already like in a real pretty rough spot.
Yeah, I think my exact phrase was this experiment's over.
Yeah, I mean, like, we are that close to being done.
Yeah.
So this, if we're not pricing the units to sell anymore, then I don't know. I don't see the future of it is.
It feels like, why did you let Leland in?
Who?
Why did you let Leland in? Get him out!
Why'd you add him in there?
I was sending him the link so he could watch. I guess he got the actual Leland. Get out, bro.
I just removed him. You sent the link from YouTube, dude. Come on.
Oh, I was like, here. Anyways,
By the way, that's awesome. Pleasure to meet you.
Enjoy this.
That's like,
man, I was about to get another drink. Thought I waited.
Yeah.
we like, okay,
Wait,
so
hold on. Say hello at least.
Hi there. My name's Leland Payne, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for having me on the show today, guys.
I love it.
I do have one question.
Yeah, go
How
ahead.
dare you?
How dare you? Oh, awesome.
I thought it was a link to watch too, and then it was like, hey, enter the studio.
Oh, it's a link to watch and more.
Well, pleasure to have had you snuck on. Zach doesn't know how to use anything, apparently.
Pleasure's all mine. I work with a guy, so
You did it.
My condolences.
My condolences.
This also makes you more than qualified to get media credentials at PAX. So.
You are now officially able to get into PAX.
I thought for sure I'd have to buy a sweater or something.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks. Keep watching.
thanks, Leland. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Friday
what I was
night.
gonna say before I got rudely interrupted is like, what were we talking about? Hold on, let me see if I can remember. Okay, Leland came in and
talking about MetaQuest and
oh yeah, no, so it's like it's a very interesting mindset. It feels very like Silicon Valley tech, bro. Like, yeah, we're gonna raise $100 and they're gonna buy it because it's the Quest 2. Like, that's just how it feels. Like, hey, we know they're gonna buy. It's just like it's very like weird, and it's not very gaming space how it happens over here.
Okay, so I guess I'll go into some of the specifics of this fucking Meta Quest that they're putting out. It definitely is leaning into not the gaming space, this one. It is definitely, all of the sort of information about it definitely leans into, this is the social headset. Like, all of these new features and stuff. It has eye tracking and face tracking. More like, obviously the lenses are more high def, but like the idea for this headset is that it is definitely going to be more integrated to Facebook and to the metaverse. I forget what they call Horizons. I think they call it.
Yeah,
it looks like a Roblox game.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Somebody posted Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, and then the Horizon, the Meta Horizon picture, and I'm like that.
No, dude. When Mark Zuckerberg,
it looks worse.
He got dunked on so hard. He got dunked on so hard. He posted an apology post.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm sorry. Sorry, it looks like this. It's gonna look better in the future." I promise.
I mean, like the answer's got to be that he's completely holed up in some like weird compound where people are just like feeding him, like they're like he's consuming some weird custom feed of social media and news that like it doesn't show him anything else of games that actually exist in the universe. He doesn't know about them.
Well, what's VR chat? Is that like just Google VR games and you'll find there's a million people playing VR chat right now, and they don't care about the metaverse with Jeffrey Epstein's island in there. You know, like we don't care.
No.
All right, that's my news story.
All right.
My news story is pretty short, but it's just really interesting.
Let's hope.
So, a couple months ago, there was a leak of Twitch contract changes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And one of them was you would be allowed to stream on other platforms if you had a contract with Twitch. And everything else is like they're reducing the cut. So instead of 70-30, it's 50-50. Just more ads, 30-second ads now. Bunch of things just to make Amazon not bleed money with Twitch anymore. Because
bleed less money with Twitch at least.
Yeah, because they're hemorrhaging money. But they came out earlier this week, like, hey, you can now stream wherever you want to. Wink. And then they just kind of left. They're like, okay, people were like, "Oh, so cool, whoa!" And then they looked into it, it's like you can only stream on one place at a time, and that's just not how it works anymore. So it's just like there's no point.
Look at us.
Yeah. So what was interesting to me is that Twitch has forever cited this notion that their justification for that is because it's harder, if not impossible, according to Twitch, to continue to foster a community if you were to co-stream, because how could you possibly respond to chat unless you're only streaming on one platform at a time, which of course is frankly ridiculous. It's been
proven wrong by like every streamer the last 4 years,
and not just that, but even some of the biggest stalwarts of Twitch, that grew up on Twitch and remain the biggest partnered folks, had to, their expansion was to create YouTube channels to then monetize the content that they're making Twitch. And if they started on YouTube, then their move was to go to Twitch, but they still have to do both in order to make a kind of like a holistic brand. It's very, very rare that somebody doesn't do both. And I mean, to call it anything other than the fact of, trying to squelch competition is just very silly and frankly dishonest.
Yeah, so it's like it's just like they say you can stream on non-web based platforms, so like TikTok
platforms that Twitch does not view as direct competitors. Basically.
But so there's a video that Ludwig posted where he just kind of went into it, and his
friend of the show.
Friend of the show, he's my best friend. Friend of the show, but like his perspective is, I always cherish it, because the where he comes from with this stuff is from a place of knowledge. Because I mean, like, he curated a YouTube channel via Twitch. Like, he's making YouTube videos on Twitch live, and then he just kind of cuts them and it's a video. Like, so he was just talking about how, like, it doesn't, if you're just streaming a game on Twitch, you're never going to gain followers. People aren't going to watch you. It's not fun to watch a person play a game. Like, you have to have some sort of content, something in there. And that's what YouTube is for. YouTube is put the content on there, but you can't just put your 4-hour VOD on YouTube. You have to like go back and forth.
People want bite size. They want curate. They want that curated material provided to them.
Now with this, it's like, okay, like they say you can multi-stream. You can't multi-stream, but you can stream on other platforms. So it's like, if you stream on Twitch for 2 hours and go stream on YouTube, you're losing more money, you're losing more time. It doesn't make any sense. It's just so, like, I get why Amazon's doing it, because they actually want to make a profit with Twitch for the first time in a decade or whatever. But it's like, it doesn't make any sense from any streaming business side either. Like, it's like once YouTube fixes their YouTube gaming stuff, it's pretty much over. Like, there's no reason to be on Twitch anymore unless you have some really cushy contract. But yeah, it's just gonna be really interesting. I think the TikTok side of it's really interesting too, because friend of the show, Ludwig, he showed off a guy posting his content in TikTok form, and then you scroll to his live and he's playing that game. Like, he's like in the middle of playing that game. So it's like, it's a seamless thing.
I do agree that, like, omitting TikTok is
huge.
It's
dumb.
In the sense of, in the phrasing of the post that they made, the amount of hubris that they showed to just say Instagram Live and TikTok are fine is kind of nuts to me, because the notion that TikTok is not a competition or is not a competitor to them is nutty.
TikTok is where the next big streamers are going to come from, and they already are.
It's where they're already coming from. It's that especially, as far as, when Twitch debuted their just chatting section of the website was already a huge pivot for them, and quickly grew a lot. Playland. Twitch or TikTok is mobile first, PC second.
Never seen the PC version in my entire life.
I mean, it loads the mobile. It loads the mobile version in a web page essentially. But anyway, so Twitch pivoted into just chatting so that they get the IRL streamers and stuff, and that was a huge boon to them. And the TikTok live section outstrips that version of Twitch. Like I forget what the exact number is, so I don't want to quote it, but they a lot. It is faster growing than Twitch was, and in a much shorter amount of time. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have necessarily a comment other than the fact that it's weird that they just said TikTok is fine, because they're coming to eat their lunch.
It literally shows that they don't have people who are in the space, like, or the people who are making decisions don't care to listen to the people who know what they're talking about. It's like it's a lose-lose. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was really interesting. Ludwig's video is great. Watch it. There's also a Devin Nash video. If you're not aware of him, he's a marketer who works in the game streaming space. Very knowledgeable, 30-minute long deep dives into the appendices of like every post ever. So he's great. Also a great video. But yeah.
Any other news?
I think that'd be.
That's
I know
it.
there was opening night live and some other stuff, but
didn't watch it. Don't care.
Don't worry about it. You could watch our 2-hour stream if you want to catch up on that.
I mean, nothing. I don't think anything too crazy. It was a lot of trailers.
The Brandon Sanderson game looks dope.
There's some cool
games. Oh, the miniature paintings.
Yeah, a competitive PvP game with miniatures like Warhammer. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. And we'll talk more about them over the next several weeks as we try to get review code for some of these things.
I was very excited about a Killer Clowns from Outer Space game.
There you go. Yeah, Killer Clowns.
Hey, they made that
asymmetrical
game.
Is it asymmetrical slasher?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah.
I'm sick of those. Don't care.
I like the team that's making it is the team that did that Captain Toonhead VR game that I like.
Oh, is it? Okay, well then that's cool.
Yeah, so I think they're the right team to write a Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and it's got the Dickies song in the soundtrack, which is
you go.
Is what you need. It's already Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There we
go. Okay, let's move on to stuff that we're enjoying. We'll start with games because there's actually more than games this week. Who wants to go first? Let me go first. I have a review game that I've been playing.
Which one?
Let me.
Since when?
Since when? Right?
Is it the one you stole from me? Stolen valor over here.
No, I already reviewed that. I already talked about that one. I believe
Stolen valor.
Yeah, he hates it. He wishes that he never played it.
Yeah, there you go. Let me share the screen here. I'm gonna turn the volume off. So I'm playing this game called Dream Cycle. This is you're gonna watch the commentary here, developer commentary. So this game it can be played in both first person or third person. It is by I think the company's called Cathuria Games, and it's basically Toby Gard, who is the co-creator of Tomb Raider, right? So it's a Lovecraft world. Like straight up, it is Lovecraft's
is this cat in here?
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, maybe. I think it might be. It is Lovecraft's world. Your goal is to kind of navigate. You're kind of stuck in this dreamland, like the dream version where you're linked to all these different worlds. And your goal is to get back to the real world. You play, I forget the name of the character. She's sort of a sorceress hunter type of thing. I think her name is Morgan Hunter. I don't know. And she's
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, related to a character from actual Lovecraft lore, apparently. So your goal as her is to get back to the real world. It's a cool premise. Like you wake up, you can find weapons and stuff. You can unlock powers. It's a roguelite. Okay. So you start off in this floating hub world, which you can kind of see in some of the images here, some of the video. And your goal is to use your powers to make your way around the world and go into these different biomes and start to essentially wake people up. You kind of come across these people come across goals and missions. You got to wake people up, kind of rescue their souls. I'm putting it kind of basic. I don't want to ruin it too much for folks because there's actually story behind it. But it's a cool premise. It's got a little bit of I don't want to say Souls-like, but there's definitely that roguelite aspect to it.
This game looks like old, but in like the neat way. Does that make sense?
Yes, and
like a lot of it feels like a game I would have played at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it definitely has that PC like.
Yeah, exactly. The PC game from 2008 to 2012.
You can't convince me that this is not a Might and Magic game.
So here, let me change the viewpoint. There we go. So, yes, this game is exactly what you guys are talking about. It feels like a game from back then because what cool ass idea. I would have been so suckered in back then, but then you play it. The game. I'm gonna restart it here. Game doesn't play very well. Controls aren't great. The opening area, I fell off every ledge because
it looks like a game where you just fall everywhere.
It looks like a game where you just fall, and it's the very first thing that happened to me after already installing like 2 updates. The game's been in early access for like a year. Already after installing, like I think at least 1 update, probably 2 updates over the last couple weeks since I got the code, is that I fall off the first ledge somewhere around here, and I just kept falling, and I kept falling, and I just kept fucking falling, and I wouldn't stop. And I thought, oh crap. The very first thing I did in this game is I got soft locked, so I had to shut the game down, exit out of it on the Steam Deck, and then start back up. I will say this is not a good Steam Deck game. It is very clunky on the Steam Deck. It's not optimized for Steam Deck. It's definitely optimized for PCs. I played on the laptop, mildly better, unfortunately. It still feels like this game needs a lot of baking in the oven. Anyways, technical issues aside, which are definitely there. The battles in the game, you can kind of melee weapons or ranged weapons or spells. You kind of see them in some of this video here. Check out the cool set piece. Yeah. There's like in kind of first person view, you don't see it. In third person view, the animations, you can get hit mid animation and you're injured. It's not like you can get out of getting attacked. Look at that guy. He's just kind of floating in space, right?
That's cool.
It's cool. The animation system is very stiff. Again, you can get hit mid-animation, and then you really can't do anything about it. There's a cool idea of astral projection, which kind of lets us sort of look around and find different things. Yeah, what's that?
Oh, is that a Stranger Things reference?
Yeah, there you go. It lets us kind of find things, items. But the problem is it functions more like a drone camera rather than astral projection, so it's very sort of clunky.
Oh, is that thing where the camera's zooming out and you're like going into different spots? Okay.
Yes. And so it feels like a drone rather than the
Eidolon has manifested. This reminds me of Elder Scrolls Blades, the game on the
phone. But the biggest thing I don't really know where I'm going because the game starts you off.
Make your point.
Okay, yeah, I'll make it quick. Yeah, let me make my review quick. I don't know where I'm going. There's no on-screen markers, no directional guidance. There's just some text or a cutscene that kind of informs you, but doesn't, and you don't really know where it's, or I don't really know where it's telling me to go because I've never been here before. Right? It like make directional objects lighted or a certain color, or just put an arrow on the screen, or give me a map. The world's gorgeous, like I talked about, like great set pieces earlier. Castles falling apart, some like really cool like lighting and just like sense of depth is really cool. And you can kind of see some of the stuff here. It's all really pretty, and you want to spend. I want to spend time looking at everything because it's and I will, and you all will, because it's pretty empty too. Like it makes Arceus look like it's It makes Arceus look like Pokemon Arceus like it has a minefield of enemies. That's how empty
I
this
have
game
a question about this.
Go ahead.
This trailer has a really giving you a bad sense of what's the enemy like placement like, because it seems like
feels
it's like
so random.
It's like one at a time, and they're on random ledges, and it seems like there's never any like real.
You have to stab them in the red part, or like what's the deal?
One of your special powers, you can launch yourself right at their weak points, which is kind of cool. And there's like it reminds me a little bit of like Dishonored too, which is kind of neat because it has that, you got some special powers there.
It seems like it has like this would have come out after like Thief was popular, and so somebody put this out.
But again, some really cool ideas. I think you said it best when you said this would have been a great game from like 2010 to 2012 because it really does feel like it, and it feels like a lot of stuff is sort of maybe it feels like
it's $20. No,
it feels like it's definitely out of time. But I am a little disappointed in it. I gotta say, I'm not really enjoying my time with it. Cool premise, but it just feels like it doesn't have anything kind of pulling it all together. And again, like I said, the lack of enemies. There's no Eidolons manifesting. I didn't notice any Eidolons manifesting. And just weird things just kind of flying around. So there we go. Dream Cycle. Check it out. I mean, if you want to try something, try it. I guess it's again kind of a coolish idea, but I don't think there's anything.
Look, the Eidolon is defeated now. So
yes, but I don't think there's anything that is ever going to pull me back into this, unfortunately. So, yeah,
bummer.
That's it.
Darn.
That again, Dream Cycle. Who's next?
What's with all these new games coming out looking like they're made in 2006? Speaking of that, JJ, I heard you were playing a game.
Listen, I have 2 review copy things to talk about.
No.
One
three in a weird way. Three in a weird way.
Because but I forced 3 in a weird way, but then also like I bought. Listen, do we want to just go to me because it's going to be a while because I have like 3 or 4 and I know you 2 are playing.
What time is it?
I don't know. Depends. Do we want to end on a high note?
Yeah, because I'm also playing the
Let's do us 2 first.
Yeah, you guys and then you're all playing.
All right.
And then JJ can end it off because he's got that thing. Yeah. Cult of the Lamb is really good. I bought it after we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
It's very good. I would say it is my favorite game of the year. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
It's what? Your game of the year already?
My favorite game of the year, at least.
Far.
I don't know if it's game of the year, but it's definitely my favorite game of the year. Even just off of like aesthetic and like synopsis alone, it's pretty above the rest, I think.
Easily
but then
one of my favorite setups of a game in a while. Like it really just the way it throws you into the universe is really
it's really interesting to me because like usually in games like this where you're the bad guy, there's usually some point where they try to use the story to justify like why you're doing this, why you're the bad guy. And this game's just like, nah, you're just
no. I mean, it's just everybody's in a cult. You're just in the cultiest cult.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you can marry everyone if you want to, and like sacrifice. Like that's just the game. Like there's no like,
and
there's
your
no like.
Is super cool with all of it. Has no qualms.
No, he's great. But like I was talking to Taylor about it, and it's like the game does a really good job of making things not feel unobtainable. Like it's difficult, but
it's maybe I don't know.
Ooh, my favorite movie. But yeah, like it makes things feel like it's obtainable. So it's like it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to grind for 100 hours to get everything. It's like I can play this for 30 hours and I can probably get all the stuff. Like it's like a very good slice. Yeah, it's just really impressive. I mean, I just want to know what their budget was because the game looks crazy. Like
so
that game,
and on top of that, it scales very hard, but visually because I played it on Steam Deck at 40 FPS locked, and now on my PC at 140 plus, and I definitely prefer it looking on my desktop machine. But it keeps the essence of the game on the handheld too. JJ, you were playing it on Switch, right?
Which, yeah. Patch just recently dropped too.
Condolences.
So yeah, it still runs like people have been having a lot of outside of my soft lock. I haven't really had a whole lot of problems. The frame rate seems to be better now than it was at launch. And I started a new game and I haven't had a single hiccup.
The good news is that frame rate is really stable during the combat sequences. The only time you see dips, or at least the only time I saw dips when I was Steam Deck, was in the cult when I have a whole lot of people doing stuff. And then it starts to hurt a little bit.
I just want to say my favorite thing to do is like give your people these like not sermons, I forget what they're called, but you give them like you give a sermon about a certain thing and then you unlock a perk basically for your whole cult. I think that's really interesting because there's a good and a bad side basically of those. So that's kind of where the morality like lies. But like you could be like, hey, you could make people have a cannibal trait, or they could just really like to eat grass. And you're like, okay, well, they're gonna eat grass.
I like so there's
my dudes eat grass, but for the record.
Grass. I said grass.
There's this one cultist that kept asking me to make a bowl of poop for one villager in particular, and kept asking me to do it, and I kind of got sick of it. That when I die, so I have a doctrine, so when I die, I get to sacrifice a cult member to resurrect me to keep the dungeon going. So I immediately sacrificed that guy.
Nice.
I ended up feeding a cultist like 4 bowls of poop, and then he got old and then he died, and I felt a little sad because my dude who ate the poop is gone now.
I wasn't expecting aging to be a thing going into it. Like I was like,
I did not see that coming either.
Yeah, I was like, I was just going off doing things. I would come back and be like, hey, he's got wrinkles. What the? And then why is this man wearing a white shirt now? He was like, I came back. He has a cane. I'm like, hold up. And then I was like, I was building something. One time he just dropped dead next to me. I was like, oh, I gotta deal with this. I guess gotta go make I like buried him, and you have to like carry him over there, and like it's like a Death Stranding where you're like carrying a body like really slow, and you drop him in the hole, and then like okay, well I have this ritual that we can do. I'm gonna give him a funeral, so I go give him a funeral, and I also have a perk that's like everyone respects elders, so I have a lot of old people and a lot of young people. So the youngins are working hard, and the old people are just like limping around. And it's pretty good.
I love just the way the village part of this game works. It is so. There's some fundamental differences than like any sort of like Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon or whatever it can give you. It doesn't. It's not super deep, but the mechanics that are all there are like super fun to play in. I love all of it.
I like making a lot of mushrooms and getting high.
Yeah.
I remember the first.
This is in the game. This is in the game.
Yeah, it's in the game. And then I light the bonfire in front of my statue, and they're just pumping up prayers, bro. I mean, all these prayers going crazy.
So it's weird. So I just finished. I unlocked all the buildings today, right before the stream, and I also have a quest where somebody wants me to hold another mushroom ritual. And what happens is that after you build all the buildings, the kind of the devotion that you would use to level up for those buildings now just turns into gold coins. So I'm about to have a gold coin party because they're just gonna be sitting there praying nonstop.
And you're cold. You're gonna be having a golden shower if you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them all money to make them love me again, like that.
No, I make them give me money. I
do that too. I do that
your
too.
Money. I actually just recently got a guy to be like my like policeman or whatever. So he's like, he has his little hat on. He's walking around. He's like,
So
Yeah,
I unlocked the marriage ritual, and the first thing I did after I got the I forget what the name of the law enforcer or whatever it is. So of course I had just married somebody. I was like, all right, well, who else to enforce everybody to love me other than my forced wife? Here we go.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
I will say the only thing that has frustrated me so far is the fact that
resources.
I can't get more than one person to till the farm.
Yeah.
I need my farm is big.
Yeah, they're kind of buttholes about it, aren't they?
Yeah, there's only one. Like, it keeps giving me the option that I can send more people to work the farm plots, but never more than one person's ever there. I got a lot of shit going on, and not enough people.
What's that? Farm 2? Do you have Farm 2, the sequel?
Yeah. Are you talking about like the leveled up version of the farm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they can do everything, but they're slow as hell.
I just do it myself because I like farming, so I just do it. I'm not gonna let them touch my farm.
What I need to set up some more of the air horns that make them go faster is, I think, probably what the real.
I think what's really fun about the game too is you can set up your little cult and just kind of go into the edit mode and just move things around.
Yeah,
like that's just really cool. Like I'm like,
okay, there's no downside. Like you don't get hurt for placing something down and regretting it later. That doesn't happen. Which is nice.
I like made a little neighborhood for my guys that like led to like the statue of me where they pray and like they're finna get some horns up there too. It's gonna be crazy.
All right, but real quick, combat talk.
It's fun.
Because that's the other half of the game, so to speak.
That's cool. It's not terribly hard. There's an adjustable. You can make it easy, medium, or hard. I think the design of the way combat works is really interesting. I think there's a lot of cool tricks. I found an animation cancel that you can do that's really cool. And it's an intentional mechanic because the knife, for example, when you animation cancel, will keep doing its combo, and the axe, if you animation cancel, won't, but it comes out faster and you can roll out faster. So it's just like there's some fun little gritty details in there if you're that kind of gamer. But like besides that, it's pretty like it's just solid. It feels good to play. I think the weapon variety is kind of boring. Like I don't really care.
Did you get to the hammer yet?
No.
Yeah, so there is another the next biomes. There's some new weapons do come out.
I've unlocked the 3. I've unlocked the water mushroom and the first one. I haven't unlocked the spider one. I'm just about to get my 12th guy, which I'll use to open up the other one. But yeah, I was kind of underleveled for the water, so I haven't beaten the mushroom guy yet. So, but yeah, the curses are okay too. I don't really mind them. They're like magic that you can do. I think the most interesting part of combat really for me is the tarot card deck.
Yeah,
like having that where you can like build that out is really interesting and cool. Like, okay, I need to buy these cards to have access to them. I got a garb, so you do things in the game, you unlock a garb that you can use to like get different things. So the one I picked was you can pick 4 tarot cards at the beginning of a dungeon run, and it'll randomly draw them for you. So that's really fun. But they have different rarities too. So you can get like a golden one or a green one or a rainbow one. They'll have different abilities on there. So just kind of adds stuff. Yeah, it's definitely, it's not super deep and it's not super hard, but it still makes you be engaged. So it's good.
Yeah. It's a good game. I still, and I think I said as much when I came back and we saw the kind of the PR stuff for Cult of the Lamb after PAX East. But I was kicking myself that I didn't see it back then.
It's definitely one of the games this year where I've thought about it the most. It's been easy to come back to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are other games this year where I enjoyed a lot, but I just can't get back to it because I'm just like, okay. But this game is like I have this bug. I was like, I need to get everything, like, and that's just a sign of a good game. I don't think it'll be my game of the year, but it's definitely one of my favorite games of the year.
Yeah.
Easily. Like it's definitely a highlight of the year overall. So definitely play it.
Cool.
If you like roguelikes, but also if you like simulation games, play it if you like
I think that the roguelike aspect of it is more of like an afterthought. It's just like
it's more of a sim
it's
game
weird.
than
It's weird because like it
anything
doesn't
else.
feel like it's a roguelike by design. It's really just more of the fact that you just do combat as part of this sim game. And I don't know. I mean, like I almost don't even think about it as a roguelike because there are pluses and minuses to completing the combat. If you die, there are negative consequences from dying. If you survive, there's, simulation positives from succeeding.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Everything just feels like that it meshes really well.
Yeah, it's like how Hades was a visual novel, a romance dating sim.
Yeah.
And I still think Hades is the best roguelike game ever, just because the story is heartfelt and gorgeous. But yeah, hey. Taylor, did you play anything else, or is that it?
No, that's it. Because Xenoblade Chronicles basically took a back seat once this kicked up.
Yeah, I've been playing the Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. The last chapter came out today. And I wanted to catch up on that because it's Xehanort's story, and I want to know more about him. So that, but yeah, my thing this time is just it's more of me talking to Dolly. I want to ask Dolly some questions.
I'm listening.
Okay, so what do you look for in a story? Like, what's your favorite thing in a story?
In a game story, or just story in general?
Story in general doesn't have to be a game.
I like to connect to characters, right? I like to connect to and believe in their motivation so that I'm drawn to them. Whether I dislike the character, whether I like whether I love them or hate them, whatever, I want to connect to be like, okay, I know why they're doing this, and I want to see how they're
interesting.
And yet you've not played Final Fantasy 14.
Not yet. I haven't downloaded.
So you like that. What about like the world and the lore of the game? Do you or just the story in general? Do you think that it's like what's your favorite parts of that? Do you like deep world building or do you like things that's kind of like mystical?
No, I like deep world building because that has an effect on the characters. I don't think you can create a character without really tying the world into it. That's why like the Xenoblade games I really love because the worlds there's meaning to everything in the worlds, right down to even specific types of enemies. So yeah, I like to have really deep, rich worlds. That's what causes me to believe the story.
So do you mind if a story is long? Do you enjoy long stories to like see how things develop, or like do you like them when they're like a little shorter? Like, what's your preference here?
It is my ideal game length and story length is like 15 to 16 hours, mostly because
what about for like a book or like a comic or TV show?
I love longer comic books. I love the serialization. Again, it depends on specific things. I like them a little bit longer. But again, time is always a factor, I guess.
Interesting. So all these answers you've given me have pointed to the fact that you should read One Piece. I don't know why you haven't.
Oh yeah, I need to.
That's what you need to do.
I'm writing it down. I have a list of things. Read One Piece, watch Dragon Ball. They're on my
Play Final Fantasy 14.
No. If you don't do anything, like just read One Piece. I mean, legitimately believe you'll love it, and I probably will. And
I believe you guys.
There are so many cool aesthetic things that Oda does that you would appreciate.
From design, it's crazy. The way he uses paneling, like the main character. Yeah. He's made out of rubber. How do you show rubber inside of a a panel. The way he uses paneling to show off the elasticity of the character is amazing. Like it's just, but no, like
there's a lot of Jack Kirby influence in a lot of the stuff that he does, especially with early.
You don't say.
Yeah. So, because like that's what the Fantastic Four was doing. They've kind of lost that with Marvel in recent times. Like even if you read a lot of modern Fantastic Four, Kirby's touch is gone with it, and what Mr. Fantastic is doing is really boring with his power set. But Jack Kirby was a master of doing what he was doing, and Oda is aping that in so much of Luffy's shit that it's gorgeous for me.
I mean, it's just kind of the perfect time to get into it because the series is wrapping up. 3 years maybe left, 4 years, but it's just like I think you'll really enjoy it. And it's like it's a perfect thing to just like read before bed. Like, hey, I want to read a chapter or two. Like, just start chipping away at it because it's genuinely the best piece of like comic fiction, whatever I think that's ever been written. It's like this, like there's never going to be anything like it, period, ever. Like no one's ever going to hit this consistency level of world building, of character development, of anything really. Like it's just like it's that good, and I think you would love it. I think you would absolutely be the biggest fan of the series. And I was just thinking about it today. I was like,
yeah, for sure, I'll definitely check it out.
Dolly should definitely just check out One Piece because it's also what's also great is your daughter can get into it too. You and her can read it together, watch it. Like,
is it on the Viz app? I can't remember. Yes. So it's like $2
$2 a month. If you want to do it the official way, Viz does the Shonen Jump $2 a month. Which will let you read the back catalog of all of their Shonen Jump titles.
That's including Dragon Ball. Hey.
Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. Even better.
But yeah, so it's $2. You and your daughter can both have your different subscriptions. And I'm just saying, because like she's gonna love it. Also, there's gonna be My Hero on there if she wants to read that. But like, it's like genuinely, yeah. I think it's the perfect time. And I think I just like our conversation last week about Dragon Ball, and then all these questions I just asked you that you gave me, like, oh, those are all One Piece answers. Is like you just have to. Yeah, that's just my little bit for the week because I'm always thinking about One Piece. Taylor and I talk about One Piece every Sunday. We were like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, cool. Yeah, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. So that's awesome. Thank you. I love getting these types of suggestions because it is, I don't want to say it's minimal work for me. The only work is really just finding the stuff, like the object or book or whatever, and then just getting the time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the other option is that if you got, I mean, I forget what the count of hours it would take to do it. You could always watch the anime with her.
That's true. Should I watch the anime or read what do you guys consider better?
Reading is 100% better, but like it's also
one is more digestible and can be more fun to do. But the manga has more puns and nuance to it, which is what Oda excels at.
Okay. They pretty much, so like the anime is very what's the word? It's very dedicated to staying consistent to what the manga is. But what's interesting is being a manga reader, there's some times where things are kind of just left out just due to it being a book. Then you go and watch the anime and you see how they fleshed out certain things. And they always have a direct connection with Oda. Like he's always just kind of telling them things. So it's really interesting to see, like, oh, like this part that we missed in the manga is here. That's cool. Like they're very, very much complementary pieces. My girlfriend and I were both big fans. We will go through the anime in like chunks. Like, okay, there's 50 episodes. Let's watch them all in the week over this weekend. Like that's just kind of what we do. But like, yeah, it's and it's also just fun to like refresh on what you read and just stay up to date, because One Piece has Lord of the Rings type levels of background lore, history, everything. You have to like keep up to date. There are times when Taylor and I are like sending wiki articles back and forth, like holy, like how did we forget about this?
So,
like,
yeah, there was the most recent big story element where it was like 4 days straight of I was on the One Piece, fan wiki, and just
yeah, no, it's great.
One Piece, baby.
And I feel like if you get into it, all four of us would be into it, and it'd be fun to talk about it more.
Oh, for sure, totally.
Like outside of DMs, and I know,
yeah,
I know, Playland's into it. Stefan started to read it. I got him to start reading it, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. It'd be fun little thing, but I just know 100% you're gonna love it. And then there's gonna be a point in like the most recent chapters where you're gonna lose your mind, because I know you. I know you're gonna see this thing and be like it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be great.
Sweet. Yeah. Good deal.
Yep. Okay, JJ, show us your poison.
Oh, it's JJ's turn. We got 2 review codes, 1 not review code, and then 1 mystery thing that's sitting over here. I'm going to start with the Turrican anthology, which up until this morning I forgot that I had played through. I guess played through.
It's the signs of a good game.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. No, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Turrican. I don't know if anyone's ever played the Turrican games before. I'm going to take the silence as an absolute no. Turrican is one of those, but let me make sure here.
This guy looks cool.
Commodore 64, Amstrad, all those like early.
I saw a Continue Show play this game.
Yeah, so Turrican's a really.
Let me get the video up here. Keep talking.
Turrican's a really, really good side-scrolling run and gunner. It kind of plays more like a like an R-type, but you're a dude instead of a spaceship. You're not flying around, but you're it's like a blend of like Contra and like a side-scrolling shmup. And they are all kind of exactly the same, with various changes throughout. So they were on Commodore 64, Amiga, Amstrad, I think the ZX Spectrum, Game Boy had a version, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, obviously in the West, were the ones that were the most popular. There was an iOS version very recently, which is the worst possible way to play a game like this. Great. They're great games. They're genuinely phenomenal games. This has the problem that I had with the Space Invaders game. So they split this up into 2 different releases. There's Anthology 1 and Anthology 2, which is fine. It's 5 games each. You get 10 games across. It makes sense to split them up into 2. Initially, these were released through Strictly Limited Games as physical games, and so you would get the anthologies on $35 got you Anthology 1, $35 got you Anthology 2. There's collector's editions and all that stuff. And there you go. Like, all right, cool. Limited run physical editions of these old classic games. I get it. That's great. So the publisher of this is I forget what the publisher's name is. I'm looking it up now. I guess not.
The publisher
in games.
Inin. I couldn't remember if it was Inin or Innis. Inin. Inin is Strictly Limited Games. It's the same family. It's like so it's under the same umbrella. So it's basically Strictly Limited Games releasing this. When they released it on the Switch, they didn't change the price from the physical games. So you get 10, 20, 30-year-old like Genesis, Amiga, Commodore 64 games. So if you want
Wooga.
Yeah, so if you want the whole slate, if you want all 10 games, it is $70 to own all of these old games. It's $35 in Anthology. And that is a crime. these games are fantastic. I genuinely love the Turrican games. They play well. They look cool. They have they're fast and they have some cool mechanics to them. There's like, and they've kind of also sort of reformatted the way the game plays for modern controllers, because you have sort of like your gun, but then you also have this sort of like energy weapon that's kind of like a beam or a whip that you can control with like the right stick. It's a really cool like update for an old mechanic. I really like it. But this studio keeps doing this because they did the same thing with Space Invaders.
Oh yeah.
Where the Space Invaders game was like $60 for like 8 Space Invaders games, but they also released it originally physically for the same price. But then they also release physically sort of truncated versions. For the same $35, you can get the Turrican Flashback Collection, which has 4 of the more classic Turrican games in it, including the Super Nintendo and the thing. So it's like, at the end of the day, like the two Turrican anthology sets are great for an enthusiast who wants to have not the entire run of Turrican games, but like the majority of the Turrican games, and the best ones. But at $70, I don't know. It's as if there's a scam going on. I don't want to say that out loud, but I kind of get that feeling.
You just did.
Like, yeah, this is. I said I didn't want to, but I did. Because this is the second time they've done this. And they're about to do it again because I think they've got a Wonder Boy set coming out, and there's already like a Wonder Boy
remake,
like remake, yeah, and like,
and they did the Taito Milestones.
They did the Taito Milestones, but that one was a little more palatable because at least it was sort of like, it was unique. It was a bunch of games that weren't popular and that nobody really played, and it was just kind of like a weird. I didn't like it still. I think I said it during the review that like, these aren't the games that made Taito. You know, these are just the games that they could bundle in there that they still had the license for. You know, it's like the so it's like that Avenging Spirit game from last week where it was like, this isn't Jaylico's greatest hit. This is just a game that exists that they could put out, because they also put out Avenging Spirit on Game Boy, and then they reproduced the original cartridge in a new version and everything. And it's just it starts off, it's like, well, we got all the sales we could get for the physical versions. We sold out, so now just push it to the eShop. Don't change the price, and some idiot will buy it that way, and it's a bummer. So I like the Turrican games. If you're gonna get one of the Turrican things, I think the Flashback Collection is probably the best way to go, just because you're just gonna get a much cheaper and more refined collection, and it's not like you're missing out on a lot of stuff, because like, it doesn't have like a nice like museum section or anything. Like, it's got a jukebox, which is cool, but it doesn't have like the history of Turrican built into it or something. So it's kind of a bummer, but it's a great game. They're great games. Awesome. So I recommend them on that thing. The next one though is something that's in the same vein, but done much better. And I've reviewed most of the Atari Recharged games. Like, I liked Breakout Recharged and Asteroids Recharged was really good. This time I got a review code for Yars Recharged, which is basically a sequel to Yars Revenge. I don't know. Okay, nobody played Turrican. Did anyone play Yars Revenge? Anybody?
I looked it up and said, this looks bad, and I didn't look at it again.
It's very it was a very unique kind of shooter for its time, because it played really weird. So it's a single screen shooter. On one side you have basically the enemy core, like the evil planet kind of thing. In the middle is a force field, and then you have your little bug dude that's your shooter. And this is the new one that you're seeing on the screen now if you're watching this. And so basically you can't just like attack the main villain straight up. You have to sort of nibble away at the shield, And then if you want to do like an attack, you go to the other side of the screen and fire a piece of the like shield at the enemy. And that's how you like defeat him. And the force field in the middle blocks out any sort of incoming bullets from the enemy, but it doesn't stop his little vortex attack. So you can sort of protect yourself, but you're not ever 100% safe when you're in there, and you can't attack when you're in that force field. So it's neat. So this takes that idea and just kind of like ups it significantly. It moves.
Hey JJ.
Yeah.
What's that one like competitive like
Killer Queen
multiplayer? Yes, that's
Queen
what
one,
this reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the description. Really, it's really a lot of running back and forth, and that's what Yar's Recharge sort of takes the sort of core idea of what Yar's Revenge was, and kind of makes it into a real game this time, as opposed to sort of like the hobbled together Atari 2600 kind of like, I made this game in 3 days of off a Coke bender. This one feels much more competent. So it moves the force field to the left hand of the screen, as you can see. It only gets activated when you collect enough of those like yellow glowing bits. And so your little bug dude can go up to the force fields and kind of nibble away at them. And so when you nibble away at them, you get the energy. And then you can start. You also have a shoot button, so you're also shooting at the same time. But there are also modifiers that change like the scoring and how the levels protect, where you can kind of turn off the shooting and you just have to sort of nibble. And when you defeat one of the turrets, you get its power, and it'll do like a laser shot or a multi-shot. And so basically, what you want to do is build up your energy. Till it opens up the cannon on the left-hand side, which is also the force field that you can hide in for safety. So you want to create a path to the main core, go all the way to the left, enter the cannon, aim it, and you're going to fire 2 shots of your energy thing. And it just takes 2 shots to defeat the core. But sometimes it's moving, so you have to sort of like time it and angle it right and stuff like that. And sometimes you may not have cleared it out appropriately, and you're just going to hit the force field and blow away some of the force field and not really get a good hit or anything. And later on you get like different like bullet hell. It becomes a bullet hell at a point. Like eventually you're trying to nibble away at the force field as you're dodging bullets, and the main core is also charging up. You can see it's like charging up the turrets and stuff too. It's those big pink ones. You're trying to defeat all of those, and you can see sometimes you get even more. Sometimes it's more than one that you have to defeat. It becomes stressful, and the default mode is 1 life. So you have like 3 health. 3 health pips and 1 life, and once you're dead, it's just like, well, that's your high score. So it does a really good arcade thing, but there's multiplayer and stuff in it. But of all of the recharged games, this is the first time where I've played one and thought that this is exponentially better than the original game. It's barely recognizable as the original game, but so much of the core of what Yar's Revenge is still kind of there in its DNA, that you recognize it as a Yar's game. Like if you've played it, it really feels like a natural sort of progression of it. And it's a twin stick shooter. So it all of these are twin stick shooters for the most part. All of these recharged games, except for the like Breakout one, but like the Asteroids one is a twin stick shooter. Black Widow was a twin stick shooter. They're clearly all really benefiting from everyone's fond memories of Geometry Wars. I'm playing this one on the Switch. It's available on everything. Of all of the recharged games, this is the best one yet, and I definitely think that you should play this one if you have the opportunity. I really, really like this game. It's a good, like, I'm going to sit down and do a run and then I'm done, and I can come back to it in a week or so or something. It's a great little game, and it's inexpensive. Highly recommend it.
How long do ones typically last?
What? Depending on your skill set. Like I've had ones that have lasted 20 minutes, but it's sometimes the cards aren't in your favor, and it's like, oh, I died before I got to the second screen. Great, like it's just depend on how. So eventually, you're just going to get really good at it,
sure,
or not. What's not a good game? I'm only going to spend a couple of minutes on it right now.
No.
Is Saints Row. I got that specifically because I wanted content, and I started playing that. It's it's a game that came out in 2020.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, someone leaked footage to me of this game, and I sent it to Taylor.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Hey, check this out." And
it's so the one good thing for me is that I haven't had any real technical issues. The game has never locked up on me. The only problem I've had on a technical side,
the strongest vote of confidence.
Yeah.
at least it works.
So
I'll tell you what, I've been watching people stream it for the past couple of days, and that is not a universal experience.
That's why I said I'm lucky, quote end quote. That's an I do have a problem, like when you start the game, it gives you a choice. Like, do you want to run it in DirectX 12, 11, or Vulkan? And every time I choose DirectX 12, it loads, crashes, and reloads Epic Games Store. And then I'll do it again, and it loads and crashes, and I have to reload Epic Games Store. And then, like, every time on the third go, it finally loads the fucking game. And I don't know what the problem is.
Caching issue.
Yeah, I don't know what the fucking thing is. But this game so far, I'm not super, super, super into it, but it is the most generic ass thing I have played in a very long time. It feels like you downloaded Saints Row off of the Android marketplace.
Man.
And you can see the things that they're proud of, because early on there's like this Mad Max ass sequence where you're like driving through this desert and your visibility is zero. Like, you can see the car in front of you, you're chasing a convoy down, and it just looks like shit. It plays like shit because you're like on the roof of a car. You're on the roof of a car, and so like you're trying to like shoot, and it doesn't really work that well. I saw a clip of it in here early on.
Guys, I was shot.
Yeah.
One of our games journalist colleagues gave this game a 9.5, so it's one of the best worlds he's ever played. So
yeah,
we should revoke his license.
Is it Jeff Grubb? It's Jeff Grubb. No, I'm just kidding.
But I like, sometimes I like, as long as you give me the tools to really just have fun, I can like enjoy a generic third person action game. Like, I'm the person still to this day loves Stranglehold, and like there's nothing more like mediocre of a game than Stranglehold, but it's got like some fun tools. It's got that like bullet time mode, and it's got the John Woo stuff going on and everything. Like, this doesn't have, like, there are times where I'm having a pretty good time. It does have car combat, like you can actually like sideswipe where you can like slam into other cars, which is a good idea in theory, except the driving sucks. So it feels awkward every part of driving. Like, it feels like you'll hit the brake and it feels like it's not responding right. And like the brake lights stay on for way longer than you've had the brake button held down. It's just like, I don't know what's going on with this game. I don't know how they thought that this is what anyone would have asked for or wanted with Saints Row. Like, I realized they worked themselves into a corner with Saints Row. Like, Saints Row 1 and 2 were hits. Saints Row 3 is a phenomenal little third-person action game. Saints Row 4 went absolutely bonkers and not for the best. And then they did that spin-off of Gat Out of Hell, which was even worse. with all of that stuff. And then they just do this, which feels like it's spiritually trying to go back to Saints Row 2. I have no idea what's going on at any point of this game. Like, I don't know if I just wasn't paying close enough attention, but I don't know why I'm where I'm at right now. Like
in the game.
In the game, like I have no idea why. Like it's
the Joe Biden simulator.
Yeah, you're just like it's just like 1 minute there's some cool gang stuff going on, then you're being buried, and now you're working for you're basically working for a military or militarized BlackRock. Yeah, you're working for BlackRock. Who and the owner of it's he's got his cowboy hat and his boots and his belt buckle and everything. It's the one character from Vice City that Burt Reynolds played, basically. It's so tonally weird, and all of the characters talk it's definitely Zoomer speak. It's all that kind of stuff. Every ounce of dialogue is just it's like a TikTok video. It's
no. Here's what it is.
Bussin' for real.
Yeah. It's not
Here's what I pointed out, because the leaked footage that I got my hands on didn't have any licensed music in it.
Yeah.
So there's no music. It feels like when you watch those videos on YouTube, it's like Big Bang Theory with no laugh track.
Yeah. It does.
That's
have
what the game.
It does have
It's nasty feeling. I don't like it.
It does have a really good soundtrack, at least. The first track you hear in it is "I Left My Wallet in El Segundos," which is hell yeah, nice. Let's go. but the game just.
What makes me mad is this game could have been really good.
Yeah.
I think the concept's really interesting, because what they sold it as is you're in student loan debt and you you start a gang. That's cool. That's a very interesting Saints Row game.
Yeah, you are four friends living together in a a one-person apartment, struggling to get enough money to buy a waffle maker, and eventually rob a bank, and then everything is just escalating more and more. You see the trajectory of the game. It's a cool idea, and I wish that the game was just more coherent and fun to play. I'm going to play it more, but I don't know why I paid money for it. I guess
it could have been a phenomenal game if they had the right resources available to them.
Yeah.
Because just the idea is a 10 out of 10 game. That's just I would play the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
But whoever wrote the game deserves to not write anything ever
again. Yeah.
It's it feels like it's an 80-year-old man who's I'm gonna write I'm a 25-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And it's no.
It's definitely it feels like a sitcom where it's all of the jokes for a younger crowd. It feels like that, because there isn't a single joke that's landed yet. Saints Row 3 was a funny game.
I showed Taylor, because he's not really familiar with it.
Yeah, I still have really never played any of them.
Yeah, I showed him that screenshot where you're the president, and it's solve world hunger, cure cancer, and the guy's like, "Mr. President, we gotta make a decision now." It's that is so funny. That is 10 out of 10. Yeah. But it's an ironic thing they're doing on purpose to make commentary, which makes it interesting. Yeah. This is not doing any of that, and it's just crazy.
Unless this game is secretly all commentary on the sort of rushed and shady, poor practices of game development. I don't know,
fucking ultra meta. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how you're a true gamer when you come home and you come to a box of fucking,
look at that
fucking game.
I actually forgot.
I'm gonna turn off the my little background blur just because it's really making it hard.
Where's your body pillow at in the background?
Yeah, you're gonna really see how the sausage is made here. You get to see Venom and Carnage Lego heads.
Yeah, there you go.
WWE championships. So
that you won.
That I won. I am both. I am world heavyweight champion. I pinned Roman Reigns in 2.5 seconds.
Nice.
So it's great. So yeah, Ghost. Dally hit us up and said, "Does anybody want this stuff from Ghost?" And I was like, I actually like that's my energy drink of choice is Ghost because they make like an orange creamsicle one that I really, really, really like, and it's sugar free. And I'm like, yeah, I've got it. I'm in on it. They have all kinds of weird flavors.
This one makes the Sour Patch Kids one.
Yes, they make the Sour Patch Kids one. So I got the box. They have their own tissue paper.
Wasteful.
Wasteful. So I ended up getting the Ghost Gamer.
Ooh, look at that.
Peach flavor.
Microplastics, my favorite.
Yeah. And I also got the Ghost Tropical Sour Patch Kids pineapple flavor.
Nice.
And I haven't tried these yet. I just opened the box before I sat down. I don't think I'm going to try both because they have.
Yeah, try the Sour Patch one. I think.
Try the
You're
Sour
scoop
Patch
it and pour
one.
it in your mouth. Or...
This is gonna dunk.
I have my shaker bottle here. Thank you very much. But then I'm also going.
I just would have poured it in my mouth.
No,
Yeah.
I'm going to snort it. Obviously, I'm going to mainline it. The one thing that they're proud of, and I think why they call themselves Ghost is because, and this is their marketing speak, is they have
because your dollars disappear. He froze.
Really
Are you done? Are you done? No, they like to say they have a completely transparent label, which means not like it's see-through, but like it's telling you everything that's in here.
No microplastics in here.
Yeah, I think it's
Except for the ones it
100.
comes in.
Yeah, I think it's 150 milligrams of caffeine in this thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, let's say I do
babies.
like 500 a day. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it right now. First of all, if you go to the website, the tagline isn't the best, but I understand it because it's a Call of Duty Warzone reference. But it does say "See you in the gulag," which I am not a big fan of.
Whoa, a little communist over here.
Yeah. But it's also definitely Ghost Gamer was conceived to pwn noobs in and out of the game. So for gaming, work, study, and just daily focus, according to this. So it's one of those things where it's definitely just an energy drink, but they're going to hide. I don't want to be too mean, but they are just hiding behind a bunch of like registered trademark vitamin packets. It's got this thing called New Level, NOOLVL.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so New Level. And I love because it's definitely designed to sell to gamers, and it's just like it has been clinically studied in a population of gamers to demonstrate its safety.
It also
and efficacy.
blocks blue light.
Yeah, yeah. It's so I'm a chemist, so that's what I do for a living. I understand chemical compounds. So, I'm looking at New Level, and it's comprised of two components: bonded arginine silicate and
microplastics. That's our boy.
Yeah. It's not. It's just vitamins, man. These are just like it's just vitamins, like L-tyrosine, which is actually not a branded one. That's a real thing. It's an amino acid, and it is like a sort of it helps with synapses. It can increase serotonin levels in its own little way, but so can eating a candy bar. It's not like it's anything. You don't need a chemical for it. And it's got Cognitin, which is exactly what you think it is. And And it has estrogen in it, which is one of those weird absorption things. So you include it in there so your body absorbs it more efficiently. They include it in a lot of medicines and stuff. It's just one of those things that exists. So it's super weird to just like, because most of the stuff they have it's just energy drink. Like you get it on the website. It's like G Fuel. It's just an energy drink. There's nothing special about it, but they're trying to like sell this one specifically for gamers to increase your focus and your energy levels and everything. And
anything's better than G Fuel, so go ahead.
I've had every G Fuel flavor.
Well, I'm not talking about the flavor. I'm talking about just the company.
Yeah. So I'm going to try look at that. Their scooper has a little their little ghost character on it.
Like that cute.
If I can get it out of this fucking jar. Look, yeah, they got the little you can barely see it, but it's got the little ghost fucking emblem on it. Smells great, I'll tell you that. And, oh good. There's garbage in it. That's what you need. It's got a silica gel pack in it.
Yeah,
there he is.
That's the stuff you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget to take a snack bite of that too.
Oh yeah, no,
JJ.
save that for later. That's a special.
That's my favorite part of the beef jerky.
Yeah. So much like Raisin Bran, it's supposed to be 2 scoops. So I guess we'll try this. We're gonna do this. Oh shit, there's more garbage in this thing.
Uh-oh.
What are they doing? It's like a cereal. I'm just gonna pull out like a decoder ring in a second. What the fuck is
Sweet.
this? There's like a coupon in it. Be loyal, be rewarded. There's just like more garbage in this fucking thing, and it's covering me in pineapple fucking shit. Did I put the second scoop in there? Do we know? I wasn't paying attention.
You haven't put the first one either.
You can't see me. I have it over here. So.
Oh, all right, chemist.
Yeah. Chemist. Listen, you saw we posted our work desks, and mine was just a workbench filled with bottles of oil today. So
olive oil for those not in the Discord.
Uh-huh.
Follow us now to see and harass Sam about not showing us his desk. He says
he's going to be doxxed by his friends or his friends on Facebook.
Yeah. So this is apparently Pineapple's Sour Patch Kid, and
oh boy,
don't know if you've had Sour Patch Kid pineapple before, but
you.
No, actually, very good. It tastes like sour pineapple juice, but not in a negative way. It does taste like a Sour Patch Kid. That's why I like this stuff. They tell you what they say. It tastes like Bubblicious or Sour Patch Kids or Sonic slushies or something.
So does it have a strong taste? Like
very.
Okay.
It's not like it's
wake your ass up.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like it's a subtle pineapple taste. It tastes like a sour pineapple flavor. Also, I forgot to shut the lid, so when I shook it the first time, I just
spilled it all over you.
My Rocky poster kind of got some collateral damage to it.
Look at that.
No, it's actually very good.
Nice.
This was so yeah. I don't know like what we're like what they thought they were going to get out of this transaction, but me saying it's good to a stream of 5 people at best can enjoy
5,000 people.
Yeah, I will be at PAX if you want to give me more. I want more food. Just give me more whatever gamer bullshit anyone has out there. Give it to me. Maybe
you'll get some more Excedrin. You get some
let's go.
So you're trying the pineapple.
If only.
Yeah, next time we'll have you try the peach one.
Next week I'll try the peach. It is
next week you're going to be at PAX, right?
Next week I will be at PAX. Next weekend I'm there Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm not going to Friday because 4 days is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I would die. I can't do that anymore. I used to do that.
You used to.
Not
but so far, thumbs up for this Ghost.
Yeah, absolutely. You can buy them on their website now. This tub is $39.99.
Oh wow. Okay. How many servings do they say is in there? How many scoops?
And for being a transparent label, it also means that there's just an absolute metric ton of things written on it. So I got to figure out where. Oh, there it is. It's in this fake ESRB rating on there. 40 servings. So
40 servings.
$1 a serving.
That's good.
That's not good. Yeah, see, it's got there's a little ESRB logo that says 40.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
yeah,
because this is for the gamers, man. These are for the gamers. This is the same. You can just get this flavor non-gamer as well. There's like the focus one. There's like the pre-workout version. There's the so it's like this one is specifically formulated for us gamers. What's up, gamers?
What's up,
ready
gamers?
To game? We're all here gaming. You want to game with us? We got our fuel, man. The real.
You know what? I mean, I might give that a shot. I'm always looking for new drinks to handle during the daytime to add to my water intake.
Yeah, I mean,
so
like, it's sugar-free. I'm diabetic.
That's good.
So, like, it's always nice to try to find something that's flavored that's not going to send me to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of energy drinks, like, it's like that's what makes them energy drinks. It's like 300 milligrams of caffeine and like 800 grams of sugar. It's like 4 times the amount of a can of Coke.
Sure.
And I'm like, that will kill me. That will put me in a ketoacidosis right now. My breath will be pure acid. But this is sugar free and it's 150. 2 scoops is 150 milligrams of caffeine. All the other stuff that's in this is kind of just it's just vitamins and stuff like that, and it's all like branded vitamins. That's why they all have, because like you can claim it your own if you do a special formulation of a handful of vitamins and then trademark it, and then you get to sell it as, you know, a supplement. But like as terms of a drinkable water powder that has caffeine in it, absolutely great.
So I mean, it sounds like it's about as much caffeine, maybe a little bit more as you know, a 10-12 ounce cup of, maybe a little bit more than like a 12-ounce cup of coffee.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that. That's good. You know what? If it gets me off of coffee in the evenings, which has been my thing, which I just drank during the show, then I can see myself doing that. So good. All right, cool.
And they call it natural caffeine, so that's I don't know what that means in terms of in chemistry. It's like
it's all
that
natural.
Sounds like some marketing bullshit to me.
Yeah. So
I had a biology teacher that would always get mad about all natural sugar. He's like, if you can consume it, it's natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, get yourself a shaker, because shaker bottles actually help.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, no, this shaker bottle is.
Use code SideQuesting.
Use code SideQuesting at GhostGamer.ru.
That's not true, although it should be at this point.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. Thank you for sharing the snack questing.
Snack questing. It's a snack.
Stuff. It's a snack. All right, and we are all snacks, as you can tell by the length of time you've been watching us. Yeah. Somebody has been watching this whole time, which is always good.
They will remain anonymous.
They will
for their safety.
Anonymous. We will not dox them. It's redacted. A lot of black marks on the sheet with their name on it. But you can find us. We're doxing ourselves right now. You can find us on sidequesting.com. We have a Discord. If you go through the wherever this video is, you'll find the Discord there. And again, sidequesting.com. Yeah, Discord's a good.
We're really mean to one another in that Discord, and it's really fun. So,
but it's because you get to a point where you're so comfortable with someone that meanness is like a level of endurance. It's like my brother and I pick on. It's not really mean. It's like we just pick on each other because my brother and I pick on each other all the time to see who can top the other person with just the best smack, and then by the end you're like, well, that was a really good one. I don't have a comeback for that.
Unless
you know that the person loves you.
Unless it's Ryan, who's just there to cause chaos.
Unless it's Ryan. Yeah, exactly. But you can find us individually. You can see all our names there if you're watching. If you're listening, it's at OKQuest, at Taylor Bliss, at _double_J, and at Dolly Demovsky. And of course, we're listed in all the podcast stuff, so you can find us. SideQuesting.com, Discord. We'll see you on the next episode of The Side Quest.